Third degree burn on the 64, third degree burn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chaos, searing Lord of Flames. Keep fighting the chaos that lives inside me, trying to hold down the beast. But it's hard to do that because everybody angers me and triggers it. I live in this world, this Kansas City. What is up, my archfiends of chaos? This is none other than your king of the night, 57 Vincent Valentine, the ex-Turk, or the real Vincent Valentine, or whatever you want to call me, or Devin Jackson, whatever you want to call me. And we're here with another Final Fantasy discussion. Now, this is about Chaos and Final Fantasy 1. Now, in Dissidia Duodecim and Dissidia 1, we seen Chaos transform into a form we never seen in the original NES game, the Feral Chaos form. Now, again, it was never thought of in the first game because the first game was actually supposed to be the last game of Final Fantasy because it was supposed to be the game that they put their all in, which is the game that actually saved their company. So, more installments came out, so there was no possible way to actually give Chaos even a stronger form than he has in the NES. Because they didn't know how far this was gonna go, and it went far enough for people to actually care about. So, my theory is, what if Chaos turned into Feral Chaos during the battles of the Warriors of Light? The 4 Warriors of Light and Warrior Light himself, which that's what his retcon counterpart is Warrior Light. His retcon counterpart is called Warrior Light. But what if the Chaos turned to Feral Chaos? I think it'd be possible he would actually defeat Warrior Light. Now let's just say there's a crystal, they get a crystal to go back in time, they get one of the powers to go back in time. So, if they go back in time, then maybe Warrior Light can get some training to beat Feral Chaos. But if not, then it just end the journey right then and there, because Feral Chaos would overpower the Warriors of Light, thus the world be sent into complete darkness. Just like Chaos's home world of Dissidia, the world would end up looking like that. Filled with nothing but dark and evil world. Kind of like the world in Final Fantasy 15 when Arden took over, but more fiery and more demonic-like, pretty much, if it makes sense. So Chaos would do that and pretty much have the whole world into chaos until the world ends itself. Though the problem with Feral Chaos is when he's in that form, Chaos loses sanity. And I'm talking about the Final Fantasy 1 Chaos. I'm not talking about Vincent Valentine Chaos. I'm not talking about the Chaos in Final Fantasy 12. I'm not talking about the Chaos in the anime, the Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I'm actually talking about the original Chaos. Now we've seen in Dissidia Duodecim, he ended up getting bored after defeating Cosmos. So he was already losing sanity, but in the form of Feral Chaos, he would even attack his own subjects if need be, because Feral Chaos, when he turns in that form, he has no control. He don't even speak any English or anything like that. He'll just destroy everything in sight, because he has no control over this. Now, imagine how strong he would have been if he's able to control that form, but Chaos only used this form into the Dissidia-verse. He's only used this form in Dissidia, and nothing else. He only uses form in Dissidia and in Dissidia Duodecim, which actually, believe it or not, the games are actually connected more than you think. But he's only used it. Really in Duodecim officially, but Duodecim and Dissidia 1 are connected if you really think about it, because some of the parts play in between the two games. But I'm not going to get to the whole convoluted, story of Dissidia and Dissidia Duodecim. But if Chaos were to control that form in Dissidia Duodecim, he'd be a lot stronger to take on, because he would have control, but he loses his mind when he turns in that form. So pretty much the whole entire universe, at least from the Final Fantasy 1 universe, would end. all life would end after the Warriors of Light been defeated by Pharaoh Chaos. And then he destroy himself out of agitation and insanity. Thus, both Chaos and the world that Chaos destroyed would be pretty much gone. It'd be like Kafka, except this time there's no towers or anything like that. It'd just be nothing but endless void of what used to be a world. So pretty much it would darken the world a lot more if Chaos was to end up into Pharaoh Chaos, which I gotta say, this is actually a better plot progression that they didn't include Pharaoh Chaos in the reboots to Final Fantasy 1, such as the PlayStation reboots, the PSP reboots, or anything like that, because this is actually perfect, because in that way Chaos would be defeated and it would lead to a happier ending, no world-ending stuff. Duodecim, the only reason why Duodecim, they gave Chaos the ability to transform into Pharaoh Chaos is because, Chaos is facing all the Final Fantasy heroes, from 1 all the way to 13, all the way from Warrior Light all the way to Lightning, which Lightning was the most recent game. Now, if Chaos would have lived till A&T, which he didn't, he finally got defeated in Duodecim, and was never able to come back since both Garlands were destroyed in both timelines. One that's already Chaos, and the one in the past that Chaos brought back. But that's not the point. The point is, if you would have survived an NT, I'm pretty sure they'd have to create a stronger form, since it'd be 14 and 15 characters. But the reason why Chaos has Pharaoh Chaos and Dissidia verse, mainly Duodecim, because Chaos is not facing just the Warriors of Light. Is not facing just Warrior Light. He's facing all the big heroes from all the Final Fantasies with some of their powers intact. They may not have their memories, but they have some of their powers intact, meaning that they'd have to create a stronger final boss than the original Final Fantasy 1 version of Chaos. Even though arguably the very first form of Chaos, is at least a god level. At least, if I could compare him, he'd be like how he is Bevelza. You would have godlike abilities, but it wouldn't be enough to face off all the Final Fantasy heroes in their respective universes, which is why they gave him the Pharaoh Chaos form to begin with, and he only turns in that form once he gets beat real bad where he's about to die. Then he will get desperate and turn into that form. But even then, Chaos is also an arrogant god as well. I also think the other reason why Chaos did not turn into Pharaoh Chaos against the Warriors of Light is because he didn't think he needed it. He thought he was way above the Warriors of Light. And that's my theory of why Pharaoh Chaos was not used in Final Fantasy 1. So may the crystal be with you. Like my social medias and everything. Follow my Twitch, King of Night 57, and all that good stuff.